Good morning. Guess what? I've been binge watching. Look. Girlfriends. This is the episode when Tony gets married to the little short guy. Anyway, this is what you're really meant to do. And let's see. We're doing chapter 8. Okay? So, from chapter 7, the follow-up steps were do the individual exercises described in this chapter, pair with another person and do the exercise of engaging in self-disclosure, inquiry, and advice seeking. Again, this is with people that you trust and who are trustworthy. Sometimes we have a habit of trusting the wrong people. So what you want to do is definitely find trustworthy people and then seek their advice and guidance. Okay? Make a list of issues that concern you. Which of them have you discussed with someone else? Push yourself to identify potential relationships within which you could discuss one or more of these issues. Write down the last 2 times you provided advice and support to others. Write down what you learned from these experiences. How might these insights help you further reduce your own isolation? Now remember, in chapter 6, it was about relationships. Chapter 7, you have to have good relationships, okay? So chapter 8 is the roadmap, bringing it all together. Okay. What I think is it's never too late, or in my case, too early to be whoever you want to be. Now, of course, for me, I believe that you are born who you're meant to be. Right? That's what I believe. So there's so many things that get in the way or try to control you or make you deviate from your true identity. And there's people who are 80 years old today who have lived a lie their whole life, trying to be like this person, trying to be like that person, and using themselves, I'll give you an example. There's someone that I know, he's deceased now, but every time that he was dating a new woman. Now, this man was married, had been married 20-some years. He had been married several times, and he was a chameleon. What I mean by that is he was very flexible. So let's say he was dating or he was interested in a conservative woman. He would go out and buy a whole different wardrobe from head to toe. Try to speak in a different way to appear to be what she wants in a man. Then, of course, he would cheat on her with another woman. And let's say she was ghetto fabulous. He would go out and get a whole wardrobe of ghetto fabulous stuff, FUBU and whatever. Now, this is an old man. This man had several wives. And he always did the same thing. He would make himself into what it is that they wanted him to be. And never his true self. He was always faking it. I'll give you another example. There's a man that I know who has never been married, and he has dated many women, and he was trying to find women who had resources and things that he could steal for his own family, whether it was information, whether it was getting them to be friends with his sisters so they can co-sign stuff. And honey, a mess, a mess. Um, but this is what he has done his whole life. So you've got one on the left and one on the right. One was a habitual marrier. He was marrying. And then you have this other one who has never been married, but has had many, many, many relationships. As a matter of fact, he motivated me for a work of art, and where the picture was that I designed was of this ship. And the ship was very raggedy and in disrepair. It did not really have any set course, but what it did was in its wake was just garbage, pieces of itself that it had given away. And it's steadily selling, but just barely over the long path. As this ship goes, it's giving away more and more and more. It's not really receiving anything. It's taking on water. It's rusty. It's got barnacles on the bottom of it because it's not in good shape, and it can't be. And that's the situation with, you know, these decisions that these people have made. And I'm giving an example of men this time, okay? Because you need to know, as a man, this is what your life is going to be. The one hand, he did get married, but he didn't sustain the marriages. Marry this one, divorce. Start again, stop. Start again, stop. He's dead today, just so you know. He's dead today. And I may tell you a little bit more about that in another video. The other man, he's still alive, but he's just a rickety old hull, you know. And I guess when he was a new ship, young, with vigor, he could just give away parts of himself. Money, time, you know, here to there, from this port to that port, to this port to that port. Never had any passengers, you know. He's not providing safe passage for anybody. He does have one kid, and, you know, that child has tried to commit suicide several times. It's just bad. And I'm going to tell you this, his mother is a Jehovah's Witness. The kid's mother is a Jehovah's Witness, and the kid has tried to commit suicide several times. And he's all jacked up in the head, you know. And what are his prospects for marriage? As far as I know, no one has been willing to get on board that ship. So, anyway, Chapter 8, the roadmap, bringing it all together. What I think is, it's never too late, or in my case, too early, to be whoever you want to be. There's no time limit. Start anytime you want. Change or stay the same. There aren't any rules. There aren't any rules. I'm just going to read what it says. Okay, let's do it. We can make the best or worst of it. I hope you make the best. I hope you see things that startle you, feel things you never felt before. I hope you meet people who have a different point of view. I hope you challenge yourself. I hope you stumble and pick yourself up. I hope you live the life you wanted to. And if you haven't, I hope that you start all over again. And that's a quote from Eric Roth, screenplay, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. So if you want to, you can have another gander at that movie, you know, and from a different perspective. It's about life choices. That's really what this whole book is about. The choices that you make, the decisions that you make. you know, beginning a journey with the end in mind, what you're really meant to do, finding out who you really are, who you have in your life. What is it that you really mean to do? Some people mean to have a life and some don't. Some don't. And no matter how they try to say that they do, action speaks louder than words, you know? So let's just hit it from the top. It's already been 10 minutes, but if you have any questions for me or any concerns or stories that you want to relate to me, you can definitely comment underneath this video. I put information on my other social media that you can follow me on and also get in touch with me via that social media. And yeah, let's wrap up chapter 8. There is another way. Okay. Heather worked in a professional services firm. It was a prestigious job, and she was honored to work at the company. It sounds like when I was at PwC, which I loved working at PwC. I'm not a kind of person that likes to be in a global office environment. I like having my own office. I like being able to shut the door. Even though this book talks a great deal against isolation, it depends on your personality. I like choosing when I want to be around people and when I don't, you know. So it says, both her parents were successful lawyers. That ain't me. And were proud that their daughter was also in professional services. After a few years, though, Heather realized she didn't have a passion for the key task of the job or the mission of the firm. Further, she saw that her performance was starting to erode. After a great deal of thought, she decided that what she loved was helping people with their problems. So she's going to do a career change because she's finding out what it is that she really likes to do versus what it is that her parents have done. Okay. And of course, as you know, if you know me, I am not doing anything that either one of my parents did. Okay. She had keen insights about people, even though she was in her early 30s. Heather decided to return to school, take pre-med courses, and attend medical school. Her concerned parents urged her to rethink her decision, but Heather stuck with it and ultimately became a psychiatrist. She helps people every day, and she's one of the happiest people I know. So that's one story. You can get that on page 194 in chapter 8, the roadmap in what you're really meant to do. Okay, so we've got more stories. As a sales manager, grade school teacher, an accomplished business school graduate. You know, what you should know, what you should glean from this is that people don't automatically know what it is that they want to do from, you know, like in first grade, people say, so what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? They're just looking for ideas. But anyway, most kids, you know, they really don't know, but they will say whatever. You know, if they just did a story on fire engines or whatever, then kids will say, I want to be a fireman, I want to be a policeman, I want to be a doctor, you know, that type of thing. I want to be a teacher. It tells you a lot about the little kids, how savvy they are. Anyway, the next one is this book. It's about you. I wrote my first book, What to Ask the Person in the Mirror. Get this book. What to Ask the Person in the Mirror. I wrote it to help leaders develop their skills and build their organizations. In that book, I argue that leadership is much more than asking the right questions, much more about asking the right questions than having all the answers. You don't need to carry the weight of the world alone on your shoulders, and you don't need to be Superman or Superwoman. Okay. You do need to ask key questions and take time to reflect on the answers. In this way, leaders and potential leaders can create and follow a roadmap to develop their capabilities and steer the organization successfully. Although I'm proud of that book, I knew when I finished it that there was still a big problem left to tackle. There's a difference between knowing the questions you should ask and the skills you need to acquire, and the actions you should take, and being able to actually ask those questions, acquire those skills, and perform those tasks. This is a critical actor. There is a critical actor who must be understood and managed in this equation. You. You. The buck stops with you. It doesn't matter what your mom didn't give you or didn't give you, who did what to you, who made you feel a certain way. Everything begins and ends with you. If you're letting someone take advantage of you, it's not them, it's you. If you are allowing someone to use your body for money, it's you. It's not that they are a cretin and a lowlife, but it's your decision. You're putting a price on your body. You letting somebody abuse your kids, even if it's the father of the kid, because he's a breadwinner, it's still a choice. Watch my other videos. You know, when you're a child, you're under your parents' jurisdiction. Did I go out and sell watchtowers and awakes? Yeah. Hi, this is Kalitha. I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Can I ask you a question? Have you ever wanted to live in paradise? You're not interested? Well, what aren't you interested in? We won't talk about that. I'm here today to offer you a free home Bible study. I sold watchtowers and awakes. I read from the World Translation, New World Translation, Bible. I went to strangers' houses, who I found out later they were the parents or uncles or cousins or nieces of my classmates, who, when I went back to school on Monday, looked at me like I had antlers and treated me like no child should be treated. They didn't want to be friends with me. They discussed it. It was a huge topic of discussion. I don't sell watchtowers and awakes today. That's not what I was meant to do. What you're really meant to do, find out what that is and go forth and do that and be happy. I'm very happy not to be selling watchtowers and awakes. All right, so that's the roadmap. And that's the last chapter. Send your questions to me. Let me know your thoughts. Give me your comments. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.